to speak of wounds, right, often our agreements come out of wounding, right? So if Dad abandons us or mistreats us or tells us we're stupid the whole time that we're growing up, but then we're also not doing well in school because things are crazy at the house and it's an abusive environment, well, then that report card is affirming the fact that you are stupid. Part of it is you're looking for it, and then part of it is like life is hard, and things in life will affirm those false things. You're not good enough, you're whatever, you're unwanted, you name it. They're like, what's holding you back?
Kill Complacency, a podcast that inspires growth and intentionality and helps you overcome your greatest obstacles.
So today I have my friend Ryan Moore with us. And Ryan, I've known you probably for a decade, or of you. My wife grew up with your wife.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a whole storyline there.
Yeah.
But I also know you specifically from True North, which is a men's ministry, have retreats. They really help the family because they work on men. Could you tell me more how you got started with True North? And like, you're a director now, right?
Yeah, so I'm one of 3 employees with True North now, and I would have never told you in the beginning of time like that I would be doing full-time ministry or that I would be at a place like True North or any of that. So how I got introduced to True North was a pretty significant part of my story because I actually was in the yard next door with a friend, with a neighbor. And at the time I was a therapist. I had a career as an occupational therapy practitioner, and we had a home health company for a little while and all that. So way back then, this was probably 2011, 2012, and he was just asking me some questions. I had a car problem back then. I was pretty materialistic, probably, if I'm being honest. And I would just get bored and just buy the next thing, And so cars was kind of one of those. I love cars, and there's nothing wrong with that. But really, I was kind of getting out over my skis a lot whenever it came to that stuff. And so anyway, he's a financial guy, and he's like, dude, how many cars have you gotten since you moved in?
He was counting.
We had only been there, less than a year. And for whatever reason, and because this wasn't me back then, but I was just brutally honest. I was like, well, I said, I had an affair with a lady at work, and the car was part of it. It was a trigger for my wife, and I needed to get rid of it. And he was so loving in that moment and just asked questions, how is Meg? How are you? Are y'all going to counseling? Separating? Are you, what's happening? And so kind of walked him through the things that were happening, and we were going to counseling, and we had made some pretty significant progress. But at the time, I think we had kind of hit a plateau, if you will, in our relationship.
You and Meg.
Yeah, we had both. We both wanted to stay together. We were in a place to where kind of the dust had settled a little bit for the most part. There's always.
How many years into marriage are you?
So 7, and so. We went from not really experiencing any hardship whatsoever to her having some cancer, having a couple of kids. My dad got sick with cancer and then ultimately committed suicide. And it was like bam, 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 bam. I had an emergency appendectomy when Gabe was a newborn. And part of Meg's treatment for cancer required her to be off her feet for months. And so, and Gabe was a newborn at that time. And so it was a condensed period of time that were experiencing all these things. And to say the least, and without spending too much time on it, like, I did not cope well. I just completely withdrew, completely shut down. And Meg did too, in a sense. I mean, we were doing the things that we had to do. You know, I was showing up to work, but I probably wasn't the best therapist for my patients. And Meg was taking care of the kids, but we were just surviving, you know, at that time.
Is this when you have the conversation with your neighbor?
No, so this is leading up.
Okay.
So almost almost exactly a year to the day of my dad committing suicide, which was kind of the culmination of everything. I ended up having that affair with a gal at work, and so from there, that lasted for a few months before I confessed it. And of course, we were actually on the way to counseling. Meg had already been going to counseling. She was asking me to go with her, and I agreed. And then on the way, I just told her, because I had already broken it off, but I know she needed to know, and she was already suspicious. And so, but that was really provision from God, because we walked into that counselor's office. Of course, the counselor didn't know me from anyone, and but we were able to navigate that first kind of period of time and conversations surrounding the confession and all those things. You know, she was like a referee. She'd be like, nope, you shut up, you know, you go, you know. And I know a lot of people don't have that, but it was super helpful for us to kind of mitigate some of the damage that could have been done by some of that
other wounds, other wounds.
Yeah,
when the issue is no longer the issue.
Right. And so that was provision. And so then fast forward, you know, a few more months down the road, we'd kind of hit a place of, you know, where we were doing okay, but not really thriving in our relationship.
You were existing.
Yeah, we were existing. We were trying to build again. You know, we were going on a lot of dates, a lot of counseling, and then, you know, we have the little kiddos, and then that's when I have the conversation with the neighbor. And
the neighbor was a part of True North?
Yeah. So he had been invited into the very first one in 2011, and he was pretty convinced, just because he had to pick up, you know, when he tells a story, he, you know, carry everything to camp and that sort of thing. But they were having another one, and it was their second one, and they were opening it up to a bunch of folks. And so he's like, you know, after our conversation, and he didn't miss a beat, dude. He was just like, okay. He's like, you should come to camp. And I was like, I'll do whatever, you know, because I was looking for anything. Like, yes, that sounds good. And honestly, I tell people at the time, I think that because of where we were, I think Meg would appreciate me being gone for the weekend. Like, like just, you know, have a break of not trying to have conversations all the time and you know, make progress and that sort of thing. But so that first camp for me in 2012, that was my introduction to True North and Wild at Heart and the message. And the crazy thing is I had the Wild at Heart book.
Yep.
And I had read parts of it, but you know, years prior. But the way John lays everything out in the videos, and at that time, of course, being in the, you're always in a different place. Anytime you show up at camp,
you could read Wild at Heart tomorrow, and it'd be different.
Absolutely. So that first camp, I always say, saved my marriage, because the session's a little bit different now, but he talks about the beauty, you know, the beauty to win, and but I came out of that camp with a real game plan of like how to pursue Meg more effectively, and it legitimately saved our marriage. And so then, you know, subsequently kept going back to camp and getting different aspects of just, you know, a lot of my spiritual milestones have come out of those environments. Because probably the following camp was like my relationship with God was very much had the possibility of being different from what I had experienced growing up. So it's like, oh, is that possible? And so my view of God really started changing, and how personal he actually is,
Over the years, I have been coached by countless mentors, and now I want to offer that to you as well. How? By Marty Hofmann's Life Coaching. This will be a 6-week program in which I will guarantee you will develop a more growth mindset. We will set goals and learn about the importance of the processes and habits behind those goals. I will also help you see your story differently as things happening for you, not to you. We will also be discussing your future self and give you clarity on who that is and what it looks like. For more information, please follow the link below or hop on martyhoffman.com and follow the coaching link. So, first off, Ryan, can you talk? I mean, I think maybe people kind of figured it out by now, but True North is a men's weekend retreat.
Yeah.
Where we talk about some issues we don't normally talk about.
Yeah.
The value I've seen in it is you teach and then you get set off to journal and process rather than just going to a conference and getting all the information.
Right.
But I kind of want to touch on something you said a little bit ago. You talked about your relationship with God could be different. Why do you think at True North that happens for people?
Man, I think, so the mission is to create environments where men can hear from God, right? And so our heart really is, first of all, to know that the Father is always speaking.
Sure.
And you can hear from him. And then to experience that is a different thing. And I grew up in church, and a good church. For a while I was like, why didn't I learn this stuff? But it was like God kind of told me. He's like, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's all there. And so I think really the environment is something special. And then two, the way that it's presented. It's the gospel presented through story and movie clips. And then the magic, it really is the quiet time. Going out and reflecting on what you just heard about.
Yeah. And
really praying through. Like, I honestly, prior to camps, I had never spent that much time praying. A lot of my prayers were very, need-based, need-oriented. Like, God, I'm doing this thing. Can you help me? As opposed to, what should I do? Right? Like inviting him in to whatever my direction is. And so anyway, it just changed everything.
So now I want to circle back a little bit more.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to the guy or the gal that's listening to this? Maybe marriage isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
And maybe they're thinking about somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I know there's somebody listening.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah.
Speak to them for a sec.
Man, just praying through that right now.
That's a big one, huh?
There's a lot to say. Here's something that most people don't think about. Is when you have an affair or when you're thinking about that other person, you see something in that person that maybe your spouse lacks, right? And what a lot of people don't talk about is when you have your marriage, right? You have your spouse, and then you have an affair partner. Really together, they're probably the perfect spouse.
Oh.
Right? Because you don't have, like, you have some missing, we're all broken. We all, like, there's no way
no one's perfect.
Our spouse can meet every need.
So you take the goods from here and the goods from here.
The goods from here and the goods from here. And the illusion is, especially during that relationship while this is happening in secret, you feel pretty fulfilled. And so then the lie is, I need to come over here to get what I need. And what happens is people are bailing, they're wrecking their life to go start a new life with this other person that really, once you take away that spouse, she's not perfect either. And she's not going to meet all your needs either. She might meet different needs, but it's not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm. If you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store. It's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com. Mindsetshop.com.
So anyway, it is a lie. And it's much better to fix what you got. And in my case, a big motivation was my kids. And I think it was a big motivation for Meg, too. She didn't want another man raising the kids. She wanted them to have their father. And so, golly, I'm thankful for that. Because she had every right to just be like, kick rocks, you know. And she chose not to.
My mom years ago, she told me she'd talked to a lady who got divorced and remarried, and the lady told her, I didn't know it was this hard. Mm-hmm. And I still had to work on it.
Yeah.
Because that's the other lie, right? That we married the wrong person.
Yeah.
And this other person's going to make our life easy.
Yeah. It's such an illusion because often with an affair partner, you're not dealing with kids, you're not dealing with bills or
it's just pleasure.
Finances or work or whatever. All your time is playtime. It's doing whatever you want to do. And so like that's not real life. It's a fantasy land. Mm-hmm. And then if they're meeting some needs that for whatever reason your spouse is not needing or meeting rather, then you feel like, oh, this is the thing that is fixing me, essentially, right? And we can talk about like where are we getting our validation from, and why are we going through a relationship to get fixed in the first place or feel fulfilled. But it's just a big lie, and it's not easy. And I think that if people are really honest, even if they have gone through a divorce and married their affair partner, it's still just as difficult. You just it's like the devil you know and the devil you don't. Mm-hmm. You got new stuff to deal with. But marriage is work, period.
So talk to me, Ryan, because it sounds like from your story, you broke it off and you confessed before you got caught.
Yes. Yep.
Now, usually that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. I think the writing was on the wall.
What motivated you to say, I've got to fix this?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because she was a believer too. And I remember having a conversation, and she made the comment to the effect of like, "You'd be such a good dad for my kids," right? And it was like the fog lifted, and I was like, "Well, in all that implies, right?"
You wanted one here and one here.
Yeah,
you didn't want just
one. And so like I'm thinking, well, if I'm raising your kids and someone else is raising mine. You know, and I was like, what are we doing? You know, we're going to wreck our families. And she agreed. She's like, yeah, what are we doing? You know, and it was just a bizarre moment. And it took some processing after that even. And, you know, it wasn't like, you know, we worked together. So that was a whole nother thing of navigating. But that was the moment that I was like, I'm such an idiot. Like I had no forethought on where this thing was going. Like I look back on it now and it's like, geez, what? Like I was so sucked up into.
Okay. So I want to talk now for a little bit, Ryan, about agreements or lies, because the devil is the master deceiver.
Oh yeah.
And obviously you got hooked, right?
Oh, for sure.
You fell hard.
Yeah.
And all of us do in one way or the other.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about marriage.
Yeah.
But at base camp, we talk a lot about agreements.
Yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about agreements and also maybe if we get into it, how they play into wombs, and then how do we, I mean, you mentioned a little bit ago validation.
Yeah.
Where our validation should be. I know this is really loaded.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
those things really are powerful for me. And I want to share it with the world. Yeah. So can you help us?
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, agreements. I mean, we have to recognize that there is good and evil. Like if we believe there's a God, we have to believe that there's an enemy. I mean, the Bible tells us that he's out to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what he's doing. And oftentimes he does it through the false things that we believe about ourselves. And to speak of wounds, right, often our agreements come out of wounding, right? So if dad abandons us or mistreats us or tells us we're stupid the whole time that we're growing up, well then, you know, and so if dad's telling us that we're stupid, but then we're also not doing well in school because things are crazy at the house and it's an abusive environment, well then that report card is affirming the fact that you are stupid. And so that's the thing about agreements. It's like there will be things in your life that have
you look for affirmation. You look for affirmation.
Yeah. And so then
because maybe the report card's a B.
Right, but
which in my world is an A because I'm a C student.
right. But if you're believing that you're stupid and you get a B,
I just mean that you're almost looking for that.
Yeah, part of it is you're looking for it, and then part of it is like life is hard, and things in life will affirm those false things.
Sure,
you're not good enough. You know, you're whatever, you're unwanted. There's I mean, you name it. They're like, what's holding you back?
So one that I identified was I was dumb, and I struggled with reading growing up.
Yeah,
and I honestly I still struggle with it.
Yeah,
I still have to think, no, I can do this.
Right.
And not let it be a handicap.
Yeah.
And it can come up and over and over and over, and you can beat it down, and it has less power.
Yeah.
But it is certainly an agreement, a lie that I bought into when I was 4th grade.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I had to read in Sunday school and I couldn't read.
Yeah. 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 I have similar experience. You know, my eyesight wasn't too good, but I didn't really get glasses until like 2nd grade. So teacher would call me to read, and I could force myself to focus, you know, for about a paragraph, and then I'd lose it. And then I'm like, you know, stuttering and stammering and guessing at what I'm seeing, you know. And finally, at some point in 2nd grade, I put the book on the ground.
And you could read it?
And put my forehead on my table and was reading the lesson like that. Not aloud, but it was like, you know, a self-assignment. And the teacher was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I can see it like this, you know. And they figured out, like, oh, he needs glasses. So, but that's pretty far in, you know, 2nd grade. So I had a lot of experience of like, oh, I'm just not as smart as the other kids, you know. I remember one of my good friends, he would put his book upside down and read.
He could read it?
He would read upside down aloud.
I can't even read the normal way.
Right? I know. Yeah. So like the vast contrast, you know, I'm lucky to see it, much less read it. But
so we have these agreements.
Yeah.
And their lies we believe.
Part of your identity, because things in life affirm those. And then when you're living out of that identity, it holds you back from other things. So not being good enough. And for me, that was it. Like big agreements that were born out of when, you know, I'm not good enough. My biological father didn't stick around, you know, and for a long time I didn't think I had really a wound from the dad that I grew up with. He was really a pretty good dad to me. And but he was kind of ADD too, and so I developed this this habit of like really like getting all my ducks in a row. Like if I had something to discuss with him, like I had to use 2 words instead of 10, you know, because I knew I only had his attention for so long. And especially coming in, well, through college and then obviously coming into True North and having to be up in front of folks. And it's like, why do I get so uncomfortable, you know, in exploring that? And well, the agreement is that what I have to say is not important. Mm. So that's an example of an agreement that affected my public speaking.
Sure.
And because often I wouldn't articulate a whole thought because I would feel like I lost my audience. Mm-hmm. After about 3 to 4 minutes, I would start getting real anxious. Like, okay, I need to wrap this thing up. Even though maybe I laid a good foundation on what I was trying to communicate, I wouldn't do a good job of driving it home. And that was born out of that agreement from a wound that my dad gave me by not paying attention to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd have his attention briefly, but then I'd lose him.
So Ryan, how do we overcome these agreements?
I think, well, I mean, the answer is you have to learn how to be a son of the Father, right? And walk in the identity that He's given you. And that's a process. Mm-hmm. It's not a quick fix. It's a narrow road, and it takes a long time. It takes a long time because those agreements are entrenched, and then also, you know, a lot of the ideas and things that I made about God, even growing up in church, like I had a lot of head knowledge. Like I know all the stories, I know all the things, but to know Him is different from experiencing Him. Mm-hmm. And God is a gentleman, and He wants to be invited in. And oftentimes I think we raise our hand and invite Him in, acknowledging that we're not perfect and we want to go to heaven. But that's like letting Him in the front door and keeping Him there, not inviting Him in, right, to the house to have dinner with you and into the rest, you know, all the different parts of your life and your heart, really.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there.